hard to achieve workloads, excluding you from meetings, unattainable deadlines, and writing you up for things that you have not done. Let's talk about what you can do when you're being forced to leave a job. Hi, I'm Harlow Reed. Welcome to the HR Insider. In today's video, we're talking about what to do if your job is at risk. The content shared on this channel is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional legal advice. Always consult a qualified attorney or HR professional for specific guidance tailored to your needs. And if you find any value in this video, please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you so much. There are times when employees will be pushed out of a job, not due to performance, simply because someone in leadership decides that they no longer want them in their jobs or no longer want them as a part of the organization. And it's not always about discrimination or retaliation. It can be as simple as a manager deciding that you don't fit anymore. This isn't about breaking the law. Sometimes it's about personalities, egos, office politics, or a change in leadership that suddenly makes you feel like you don't belong anymore. It might feel personal, and that's because in a lot of ways it is. It can be one of the most difficult things to experience in the workplace. Despite how it feels personally, it's important to remember that as long as your termination does not violate specific legal protections, your employer may have the right to let you go. At-will employment means you can be fired for almost any reason, even for no reason at all. But here's the catch. If you believe your termination was due to discrimination, retaliation, or another unlawful reason, the burden is on the employer to prove otherwise. At-will employment means you can be fired for all. There are times when an employee may start to feel that they're being pushed out of their position. Sometimes it's just a gut feeling, a sense that things aren't quite right. But if you're looking for a specific sign to confirm that something more deliberate might be happening, here are a few red flags to watch for. If you're receiving more and more negative feedback without clear or actionable specifics around what you're doing, vague feedback that is really not clear on what should be done differently, being excluded from important meetings or projects, unmanageable workloads, or unrealistic deadlines, written warnings that seem meritless or out of character, a sudden and unexpected shift in your performance reviews, changes to your role, such as restructuring or having responsibilities reduced. If you're noticing a combination or any of these, it might be time to evaluate the circumstances more closely to determine the best course of action. So, what steps can you take if you're experiencing similar circumstances? First, start by making sure that you have clean hands. And what I mean by that is, are there any aspects of your job that have been left incomplete or unattended, not due to a lack of resources, but simply because they haven't been prioritized? Have you missed deadlines or had attendance issues? These things matter because they could influence leadership's decisions and how your concerns are perceived. If your work performance has been subpar or you're not fulfilling key aspects of your role, understand that your credibility may be questioned. And this can compromise the legitimacy of your concerns and make it harder for you to advocate for change. And of course, this does not cover instances where you have been set up to fail. I'm specifically referring to tasks that have been assigned to you for you to handle, where the responsibility is yours to complete, and there's no justifiable reason for failing to complete them. Let's say if you have fulfilled your job responsibilities and you still find yourself being ushered out of the organization. Here are some of the things that you want to consider doing. First, you want to make sure that you are familiar with your internal policies, your employer's internal policies, and any grievance procedures that are outlined for employees who feel that they are being treated unfairly. Also, you want to document everything. Keep records of meetings, emails, performance reviews, and any sudden changes in how you're being treated. You want to make sure that in your notes that you're taking, you highlight patterns of behavior that suggest that you're being pushed out. You can also request clarity. Just ask for feedback and clarification about your performance or any changes in your role. For example, I noticed my responsibilities have changed. Can you provide me some insight into why that change was made? So you're basically asking your employer to legitimize their decision to change your role without just arbitrarily doing it without providing you any information to suggest that the change is valid. And this next thing can be something that can be a challenge for some to do, especially when they feel like this is a personal attack against them. But the best thing, one of the best things that you can do is to protect your reputation by staying professional. Make sure that there's nothing they can say or point to that you have done that's unprofessional. And again, even if you suspect that you're being pushed out and it feels personal, you need to focus on maintaining your network, gathering references, and just being as professional as you can be in the workplace. Handle what is happening to you in a very respectful manner. And in the long term, you will see that the outcome is more beneficial to you when you maintain your professionalism. If you don't find a logical reason why you're being pushed out, please do not eliminate that it could be discriminatory. Bullying, it could also be retaliation. Gather the facts, and if you suspect that your termination is illegal, consult with an attorney, HR professional, or file a complaint with the EOC or your local state's labor board. Keep in mind that the burden of proof lies with the employer to demonstrate that any action they take, particularly one that negatively impacts your employment, was not driven by discriminatory motives. Therefore, if you believe discrimination could be a factor, it's important to voice your concerns. Just a few tips now on suggesting a severance. You want to be strategic. You want to make sure that you are looking at what is the best interest for yourself, but also what would work for your employer as well, because that's what's going to get you the most viable outcome in terms of resolving this for all parties. So you want to be strategic. You want to keep your professionalism, as I shared on the other slide, and you can frame it in a solution oriented way, one that avoids conflict. And I'm talking about framing your discussion about your severance. You want to frame it in a way that avoids conflict, but also supports a smooth transition. So, one of the things that I've heard people say is in an email or in a letter, considering the current circumstances and my goal to ensure a smooth transition, I would like to propose a reasonable severance package that reflects my contributions to the organization and provides support as I move forward. I believe this approach would allow both parties to avoid further conflict and achieve an amicable solution. Something like that that you would send to your employer opens that conversation. I always say go where you are celebrated, not where you are tolerated. And if you find yourself in a space where they are pushing you out, don't worry. This is their loss, your gain. You don't want to be somewhere that you're not welcome, that you're not wanted. I hope you found this video to be helpful. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much.